Hello friends and welcome back to Animal Crossing. I am Peachie Llama here on YouTube. Today on Amberino we are going to be working on the farmland that extends from behind the town and city into the mountains. So if you are really into Farmcore, this is your video, bringing in a westerny farm vibe to this island. I'm so excited and I hope this helps inspire you for any Farmcore islands or any farm ideas you need for your islands. And with that, let's get started. Okay, so we got started and I was building in the evening, so sorry about the lighting in this beginning part of the build. I found this incredible build by HONEYLAND Horizon on Instagram, and it was made entirely of storefronts, and it inspired me completely to make this ranch slash farm area on Amberino. I'd been trying to figure out how I wanted to piece this area together for so long, and after seeing what she built, it completely inspired me to create the farm I wanted on Amberino. So the big goal was to have a big ranch house, and that's what this looks like in the end. So I am very excited about it. So go show some love to April on all her channels. I'll have all her YouTube with HONEYLAND Horizon and Instagram all listed below. So I wanted to add the fence railing in it. I think April used a simple panel for her fencing, which I thought was great as well. I just had this fencing in my storage and I thought, well, let's try it out. I don't know when else I'm going to use it. So I actually ended up really liking the way it looked, so I went for it. But here I'm kind of just trying to figure out my terraforming sizes to make it very symmetrical, because as you all know, I have to be symmetrical in my builds. So we are placing 3 of the storefronts at the front, and there'll be 4 on the second level above. So we start, I love how they glow in the dark. It really feels like someone's home, and I love it so much. An amazing item for this game that has helped so much with the Western theme. Oh my goodness. And I wanted to have them all be in one line, even though there's a little bit of a gap between with the railing, but I still think it looked really good. I chose the fencing railing wall thing, that object, because I liked the way the ends of the railing kind of came up above the railing, like the posts at the end. It just made it really feel like a proper fence, which is something I was really hoping for. But yeah, so the top level, I went ahead and covered in this amazing custom design that I've used all over Amberino, especially in the train station I created for the Western town, which you'll see here. So highly recommend. It's literally one of the best westerny old-timey wood plank designs I think I've ever seen, and it's like an ashy gray, which is cool. I think it adds a nice contrast because it's not all one color of wood. And so our top level is going to have 2 storefronts on either side, and then 2 back to back in the middle, so that it kind of looks like a windowed peak, you could say, or windowed gable of the roof of this building. Again, all credit goes to April, aka HONEYLAND Horizon, because she's amazing and she's so brilliant. I would not have this farm be as awesome without it. So again, big shout out to HONEYLAND. All right, coming down off this cliff, and just look at it. It's perfect, it's amazing, and especially from far away, it's an amazing big ranch house structure, which it reminds me of Red Dead so much. It just made me so happy. So very excited. So I wanted to plant some trees to kind of fill the space around it. I think I'm going to extend more trees. There'll definitely be more trees in the mountains later on, but I haven't worked on the mountains just yet, at least from the part that we were at before. I wanted to use this path I've been using all over the island as well. It's just a simple dirt path I found on the custom designs portal, and I've been using it in different areas to kind of add some variation to the custom designs on this island. But I wanted to have a mixture of both sand and dirt paths used in this build, because I felt like they're kind of on the verge of both. Like, we're out in the west, it's going to get a little more dry out in the farmland, and I'm going to start filling the space with wheat fields and different flowers. I wanted to just add a little bit of variety. I've seen some amazing builds lately with wheat fields, not like filling up the entire space, but just kind of being spread out sporadically. And I think that's something I want to get better at using, and I think it could be worthwhile probably in all different builds, and to make everything look overgrown. And now obviously it makes a farm look like a farm, but I think it really helps add an overgrown and tall grass feel to so many different builds. I think if you've got some overgrown vibes, this is how you do it. So once I was satisfied with my wheat fields, I went ahead and started to put in my windmill and other big items, added some movement, you could say, and of course have our covered wagon here for our ranchers who live here to be able to move around and get into town to trade their goods, and also milk can, because you know, you can't go wrong with a milk can in the West. It's huge, but it just adds another element to this whole thing. So then I started adding in some yellow hyacinths as well as mums, and just I felt like they do represent a little bit of a wheat vibe as well. So I just thought it'd be a nice little variation around the area. And I also added some more pumpkins because I love them, and I just think it was a nice just touch for the more natural part leading into the ranch. I also added in some carrots and a white mum as well with some weeds, and again I think we're good on that front piece. And the log fencing has been my favorite fence for this build. If you're making a farm, I entirely recommend using the log fence as like your sectioning off fence, because I loved the way it looked and I think it really fit the space super well. So I decided to go ahead and use the regular path, the regular dark and light dirt path that we have in the game. I always like doing that to create farming spaces, just to add some variation to it and not just have everything be planted plainly on the ground. I don't know, I just like the way it looks, and I think it just adds some dimension to the entire build. But this little farm section that I am working on is actually going to be a flower area. I use a lot of the garden wagons on this island, so I wanted to make sure I had my stock of white hyacinths, red cosmos, and yellow roses, because those are the flowers required to create those wagons. So I used to have a lot more stocked up on the island, but because I know I'm almost done and I don't need to have as many on the island, I decided just to keep the 3 that we need to get 1 each time, and it'll work out. Because I don't know if I've seen many people do farms with flowers either, so I thought that was a kind of a unique thing to do. Back on the other side, I'm continuing to make another set of lanes, or I guess plows, like what do you even call these things, the rows of dirt for all the vegetables to go in. I wish I know the word, but I don't know the word. I'm not there. But if you know the word, let me know in the comments below. Making these rows so that we can start planting a little pumpkin patch, because I have to use the pumpkins that I've had planted for a long time on the island, and it's my favorite of all the vegetables. Is a gourd even a vegetable? I decided to put in a bush as well to add some variation to the fencing to kind of block off certain areas. So I'm using holly bushes because those are in season. I played around with our barbed wire fence because I wanted to just see if I could add some variation to our log fencing, but I ended up keeping just the log fences because I just thought it looked so much better. Even though I think barbed wire looks really good with lavender, to be like lavender fields or even like a winery. I would love to do a winery at some point in this game for sure. And next I'm adding in some of the dirt sand paths, because I didn't have any of the single of the dirt paths, but I kind of like the change to going into the sand. Again, just adding in some vibes of the dryness that is going to be in this valley, but also just to add some variation to our paths. And I finished that on both sides, and then I start adding in some extra plants and weeds to just kind of vary up either side of the pathway. I wanted to add in some more of the yellow hyacinths, and then I also add some weeds in between, just because again I like the way it looks. It just gives it a more natural vibe and not just so structured. And I wanted to put a wooden storage shed outside as kind of like an outhouse vibe, but also make it easier to have some access for storage on this side of the island. And then I want to include also that clothesline as well, just to add in some more items for the residents of this potential ranch to use. Of course, I added our horse in front of the wagon, but I also wanted to add some other creatures into our farm, so I'm gonna end up putting the bunny elsewhere, but I have some other items I wanted to find places for, and I thought the recycled paper for the newspaper would be kind of cool, as if like they just stopped off and dropped off papers for the farmland areas and the farmhouses so that they can get their papers from town. And finally, we are back in the daytime. I know it looks so much better in the daytime, but I was just currently in the mood to build when it was nighttime. But I just am very, very happy with the way this looks. Again, just the depth that it has right now with having the decline right there. I love looks like that on islands, and I've always wanted to create one, so that was something I wanted to do on this island, is kind of create the downhill look on a valley, because I think it just opens up the world a little bit more than you usually have. Then of course I wanted to have a silo with a little wheat field surrounding it. I thought that just added a small little element to a major wheat field, and I didn't really have space for a major wheat field, so I think this is a good compromise. And then of course we add our little bunny friend with a barrel on the side. I just thought it looked really nice for separation, and I think it's nice just to have a little bunny as a cute touch. I really enjoyed that. And again, adding in some of those log fencing once again, because I love the way they look to separate off everything, very westerny. Putting in a few more details here and there with a tree and some carnations. I don't know, I just wanted to use some of the items I've saved up for so long. And then I got rid of that fence so that we can always access the flowers if we need to, but the tree kind of gives the illusion to separation, which I like. And then on the other side, I'm working on another plot of farmland to add more of our vegetables, because we're gonna have vegetables on both sides of the farm here, so I wanted to be surrounded by different plots of land. Planting in all my carrots and all my tomatoes in this field was really fun, and I still haven't cooked in this game because I'm just all about designing and building right now and finding villagers, but that's kind of my main focus, so I haven't really had the opportunity to cook. But I'm hoping once Amberino's kind of finished, I'm going to take some time to play a little longer before I reset and just cook for my villagers, have some good times. I think that might be a good send-off eventually when we finish Amberino, is to cook for all my villagers so that we can give them a nice send-off when we are going to be ready to reset one day. So on the left side of the farm, we have the wheat field and the flower field that is good for decor, but also for items in the game. And then of course I have the potatoes, the wheat, and the sugarcane vegetable items to make sure I have some supply of them to use for future cooking activities. And again, I just love the way this looks. I love having the carnations on top because it just adds a little bit of color to it, as well as the grinder that's next to it. I don't know if it's period accurate, but I felt like it worked where it was because I had one, so I'm going to use it, you know. And then of course the bunny, which makes my day every time I see it, and I just think this looks so good. Very farmcore. I haven't done a farm properly before, so I'm really proud of this. The one thing I still kind of want to work on is I gotta get rid of my flowers that are on the right there, but also just probably add a couple more items. I think I want to add like one of the wash bucket things for the clothesline. We'll see what other features we do on the side. I gotta figure out what to do with some of my beaches as well. Again, I hope you guys found this exciting for you guys and super inspired to maybe build your own farms, because I'm sure you guys have been working on that as well since we got vegetables, but I really haven't done that yet. So if you're a late bloomer like me on the farming side of things in this game, hope this inspires you to also get cooking and get growing. Well, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and are loving this farm as much as I am. I'm so excited about it. It's the best ranch style building ever. So thank you again to HONEYLAND Horizon, who was able to share this on Instagram and get me inspired to create this whole area. So thank you again for that, and remember to show her some love. I hope this video helped you guys. If you're also struggling to build a farm on your island, I hope this is giving you some inspiration and give you some nice and fun ideas as to how you might want to create it for your space on your islands. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a big thumbs up and consider subscribing so you'll be notified the next time I post. I love you all so much. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Goldie joining up here, Biscuit in the background. Everybody's joining this outro.